This video is going to be about what I eat, and I have attempted to make this video so many times over the last weeks to months that there's just a backlog of videos. So let's break it down in another way. First off, there's things that I consume before I even eat, and I think it's important to have a good routine as a start to your day. One thing that Dawn and I have been in the habit of doing recently is starting our day with heated water, and I add a lemon to mine, he may not, and we drink at least 2 full mugs of water just to start our day. These mugs are like 16-ounce mugs, so Dawn is drinking a full quart of water in the morning first thing. I'm not quite getting a full quart, so my first mug is with lemon, and then my second mug may be plain water, or I may do this mix of seeds and spices. And I can put a recipe for that or show that in another video if you'd like. Here's a quick glimpse at what that may look like. And now, as I say this, I just don't do the same thing every day, but what I'm doing consistently is having the water first, most often with a squeeze of half of a small lemon. And we do deep breathing while squatting and drinking this first mug of water. And this is something we learned from an Ayurvedic channel, and it's a good way to start the day, and it's especially helpful for people who may have digestive issues, constipation, or a lot of gas bloating. Just by getting the liquid in, doing the deep breathing while squatting, using those leg muscles, which are in Chinese medicine related to the digestive organs. So that is how we get started, and then after that we will do our meditation and sit in front of red light, red / infrared mito light, and then either do yoga asana or possibly at least 2 days a week, depending on our schedule, we will do our full body strength training, and that is about an hour and a half. We were doing 4 days a week, not full body, switched back. So at this point, we've decided we like doing it all in 2 days, which means it's a little longer routine. So if that's the case, then I for sure have my seed mixture because it just gives me a little fuel before the workout. And the reason is, especially for people who, like myself, have a vata dosha or tend towards vata imbalances, which is dryness and dry skin, hair, nails, constipation, highly active nervous system and mind, then the seeds mixed with the water and maybe a touch of honey or a little vanilla soy milk is just a really nourishing way to start the day for me. I like having the seeds in the water rather than just dry on food, like ground flaxseed, maybe some black sesame seeds, and then turmeric, dried ginger, these kind of things, all at least during the winter time when it's colder out, because some of these herbs and spices are warming. So that is the start to our day. After that, then we move on to our hot beverage. Even though those beverages were hot, our hot beverage, what I refer to for that is the yummy hot beverage that is either some kind of a Ticino blend or possibly coffee decaf, mostly with Ticino. I've cut way back on caffeine, but I still might have coffee or green tea later in the day. And so we'll have that with non-dairy creamer. And once in a while, I'll whip out the foamer and really, for a nice treat, foam up the milk, for which the barista brand or blend, Oatly I think it is, works really well. But you could do soy milk or soy milk and oat. Now, I'm not really buying that milk all that often, so mostly I'm using the non-dairy creamer, but I love all the frothy milk on the hot drink. And we'll have that while we maybe sit and do some other things, and breakfast is cooking. Breakfast can consist of what I would categorize as one of 3 options. Either something that is just very fast because we got to get going, or we don't feel like messing around, like a weekend or whatever. Our go-to porridge type blend, and or something that is really more elaborate, which doesn't even really take a whole lot more time, but a little more prep, and that would be soup. Especially, I love a miso vegetable soup, maybe with some tofu and fresh cooked rice, and or some kind of extra preparation of vegetables with the grain. So that's how we tend to eat. Honestly, it just goes according to mood and timing, and all my decisions tending to be about what do I feel would bring about the greatest restoration of balance if I'm not feeling balanced. So if that's not an issue, we just have our go-to porridge or whatever it may be. If I'm feeling like I've been out in the cold running around and I haven't been sleeping well, then I'm going to put some extra effort into having a more really nice, soothing, nourishing meal a la macrobiotic style, and that will probably be brown rice with a little ume pump paste and soup. Shredded carrot, daikon radish, miso, and vegetables. Sometimes I make kanjis and not just our classic porridge, and I'll add root vegetables and maybe even some beans or nuts and seeds, dried fruit to the kanji, and that will just be grain and all those things cooked with a little bit more liquid. Our go-to porridge is either rolled oats or rolled oats blended with rolled barley, sometimes steel cut oats, possibly with millet. Maybe I'll dry roast those grains first, maybe not. And then sometimes we have brown rice, just fresh made with the soup, so it might not be a porridge, but just actual rice. However, if we have leftover brown rice, then that might become a porridge the next day where it is cooked with more water and maybe with added squash. Almost all the time when we make our porridge or oatmeal, we add goji berries, possibly raisins, dates, not often. And it's more about what we put on top once it's prepared. So for sure, if we didn't really add much to it while cooking, I will put ideally like a tablespoon of soy lecithin granules for the choline. That's the little yellow things you might see in some of the pictures that I'm showing. Hemp seeds. Usually I've already drunk some flax seeds, so I don't tend to put that on my oatmeal. I drink it first, but I will add perhaps some of the hemp seed and a few walnuts that I crumble up. And then to that we may add fresh berries, or if we don't have fresh berries, actually, because it's winter, I just don't buy them right now, but I may make frozen berries, just heat them up, maybe add chia seeds to that and then put that on there. I do sometimes add either a little maple syrup or a touch of brown sugar, and I just like it sweet, and quite frankly, you know, it's actually great for Vata people too. The flavors you want to enhance as a Vata person are a little bit more salty, sweet, and I think sour. So I get all of that in the combinations of foods and herbs and spices that I use, and these are all things to help bring about hopefully an ideal start to our day until we have lunch. So then lunch will be balanced based on how we had our breakfast, and I'll do that in a whole separate video. So I hope my explaining while showing some of the meals is helpful, because I think it's good to know what goes on in someone's head when they're choosing what to eat. And for me, my overarching way of eating is always about what do I need or do we need to help us feel in the greatest harmony and balance, the greatest sense of calm, or even just happy in a particular moment. And of course, I don't always do that. We just kind of have our default way of eating until we just don't feel as balanced, and then I kick into gear and I correct it through how I choose foods to prepare for that day or that meal. So there's always a way to find balance, and sometimes it can take time. So I encourage people to experiment with how they like to do breakfast or how they like to start the day, whether they want to eat much or very little, whether you need things to be fast and convenient. So for us, that might be a sprouted grain English muffin with sunflower butter, peanut butter, even vegan cream cheese and preserves, or cereal, to which the only cereals I would use by and large are like the wheat, shredded wheat, or grape nuts, because they have very minimal ingredients. And to which I'll still add nut seeds and berries. You know, the porridge is something that's very easy to do, but if you are someone that feels like you need a little more protein in the morning, you can add beans to it, edamame, some protein powder, whatever you need. And so what each person needs will have to just be based on how you're feeling and what works best, and the best way to find that out is through experimentation. So I hope this little how I start my day video helps, and I will do my best to follow up as soon as I can with basically our second meal of the day, which is our only other meal other than snacks. And the snacks are usually just fruit, maybe some nuts. So that's about it. I will be making an announcement pretty soon in one of my upcoming videos about some changes. But I also wanted to just quick before I end, I meant to show this previously and didn't get a chance. The light's glaring. So I hope you can see. I completed in December, actually, of 2022, the Forks Over Knives online cooking school course through Ruby. And they did a fantastic job. I highly recommend. It's a lot of work, but it's so beneficial, very rewarding, a lot of fun. Got a lot out of it. So that's my news that I was going to announce a while back, and I will be with you again shortly with the rest of my meals and what I eat and why. If this was of value to you, or if you have questions, what you would like to see more in terms of understanding about the foods we eat and why, please do leave a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.